Here's what nobody tells you. You tell your family you can't come to Sunday dinner because you need time for yourself. Nobody yells, nobody screams, but suddenly you're the selfish one, the bad person, the one who doesn't care about family. And here's the crazy part, you actually start to believe them. You feel guilty for wanting something as simple as one quiet Sunday afternoon. If you've ever been called selfish for simply wanting basic respect, this video is your mirror. If you've ever felt that tight feeling in your chest, hearing a story that is or was yours, keep watching. Because what I'm about to tell you will change how you see every relationship in your life. There's a mind trick happening to you right now. And most people never see it coming. But once you understand it, you can't not see it everywhere. And that's when everything changes. Hit that subscribe button now, because what you're about to learn isn't taught in school. It's the kind of truth that makes people uncomfortable, the kind that sets you free. 500 years ago, a man named Niccolò Machiavelli wrote a book called The Prince. Everyone thinks it's about politics, but really, it's about something much more personal. It's about how people use power against each other, even people who claim to love you. Machiavelli discovered something shocking. He found that the nicest, most moral people are often the easiest to control, because they're afraid of being called bad. They're afraid of disappointing others. So they give up their own needs to keep everyone else happy. Sound familiar? Carl Jung, the famous mind doctor, discovered something similar about 100 years ago. He found that inside every person are two sides. There's the mask you show the world, the good person everyone expects you to be. And then there's the real you underneath, the one with actual needs and feelings and boundaries. Jung called this real part your true self. The mask he called your persona. And here's what's mind-blowing. Most people spend their whole lives wearing the mask. They never let their true self come out because they're scared of what others might think. That's right, that's their sides in their own feast. And then there's still this person Mason. But here's what Jung discovered that changes everything. He said that becoming who you really are means disappointing others. It means some people won't like the real you. And that's not just okay, it's necessary. You know what's crazy? The people who get the angriest when you start being real are usually the ones who benefit most from your fake self. Think about it. Who gets upset when you set boundaries? Who calls you selfish when you finally say no? It's always the people who are getting something from your people-pleasing. This is where Machiavelli's lesson becomes so important. He taught that being too nice makes you a target. When you're always giving in, always saying yes, always putting others first, you're actually teaching people that your needs don't matter. You're showing them that your feelings can be ignored. And here's the part that will blow your mind. They don't even realize they're doing it. Most people aren't evil masterminds plotting against you. They're just used to getting what they want from you. So when you change, when you start standing up for yourself, it feels wrong to them. It feels like you're being mean. But you're not being mean, you're being real. Let me tell you about something psychologists call emotional blueprint. It's like a map in your mind that was drawn when you were little. This map shows you how relationships work. And for many people, this map is broken. Maybe you learned that love means always saying yes. Maybe you learned that being good means never making waves. Maybe you learned that your job is to make everyone else comfortable, even if it makes you miserable. Melanie Klein, another brilliant mind doctor, discovered that these patterns start when we're babies. The way people treated us when we were tiny shapes how we think relationships should work as adults. If crying meant you were ignored, you learned to be quiet. If being upset made adults angry, you learned to hide your feelings. But here's what Klein also discovered. You can change these patterns. You can redraw your emotional blueprint. You don't have to keep living by rules that were made when you were too young to understand what was happening. Donald Winnicott, who studied how children grow up healthy, found something amazing. He discovered that every person has a true self, the real you with real needs and feelings. But many people also develop a false self, the people pleaser who does whatever others want. The false self isn't evil. It was created to protect you when you were little. But here's the problem. If you keep living as your false self, you'll never be truly happy. You'll always feel empty inside, like something important is missing, and that something is you, the real you. Now here's where this gets really interesting. Jung talked about something called the shadow. These are the parts of yourself that you hide because you think they're bad. Maybe it's your anger, Maybe it's your need for alone time. Maybe it's your desire to be successful or beautiful or important. But Jung discovered that your shadow isn't bad. It's just the parts of you that someone else decided weren't acceptable. And when you keep hiding these parts, they don't go away. They just get stronger. They start controlling your life from the darkness. The only way to be free is to bring your shadow into the light, to accept all parts of yourself, even the parts that might disappoint others.
If you're still watching, hit that subscribe button,
because you're about to learn something that will change how you see manipulation forever. Here's what Machiavelli understood about human nature. People will use your morals against you. They'll use your kindness as a weapon. They'll make you feel guilty for having needs. And they'll do it by making you think you're the problem. Let me show you how this works. You want to spend Saturday alone instead of at a family gathering. A normal response would be, okay, we'll miss you. But instead you get, I guess you don't care about family anymore. Or, you're being really selfish lately. Or, I'm so disappointed in you. Notice what just happened? Your simple boundary, wanting one day to yourself, suddenly became a character flaw. You're not just making a choice, you're a bad person. This is what Jung called projection. The other person is taking their own uncomfortable feelings, maybe their fear of being alone, or their need to control others, and putting those feelings on you. They're making their emotions your problem. But here's the truth that will set you free. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. You didn't come into this world to be everyone's emotional support. Your job is to be honest about your needs and respectful in how you express them. What others do with that information is up to them. You have the right to disappoint people who want you to stay small. You have the right to make choices that others don't understand. You have the right to put your mental health first, even if it inconveniences others. Your freedom is not being mean, it is your right. I know this feels scary, I know you're thinking, but what if they get mad? What if they stop loving me? What if I really am being selfish? Let me tell you something that might surprise you. The people who truly love you will adjust to your boundaries. They might not like it at first. They might be confused or even upset. But if they really care about you, they'll figure it out. The people who don't adjust, the ones who keep pushing and guilting and making you feel bad, those people were never really loving you. They were loving what you did for them. They were loving your false self. And that's not love, that's using. Jung said something beautiful about this. He said that individuation, becoming who you really are, requires you to disappoint others. It requires you to risk being misunderstood, because the alternative is living a lie. Machiavelli put it differently. He said that if you're always worried about being liked, you'll never be respected, not even by yourself. Here's what I want you to understand. That guilt you feel when you set boundaries, that shame when you say no, that fear when you choose yourself, none of that is yours. Someone else put it there. Someone taught you that being real was dangerous.
but you're not little anymore.
You don't need permission to exist. You don't need approval to have needs. You don't need to earn your right to take up space. If you've ever felt called to be more honest, more authentic, more real, that's your true self trying to emerge. Don't ignore it. Don't push it down. Don't let others convince you it's wrong. Jung discovered that your true self knows things your mind doesn't. It knows what you need to be happy. It knows what relationships are healthy. It knows when someone is using your kindness against you. But you have to listen to it. You have to trust it, even when others tell you not to. Here's something that might shock you. Every time you betray your true self to keep others happy, you're actually hurting both of you. You're teaching them that fake love is acceptable. You're showing them that they don't need to respect your real needs. And you're teaching yourself that you don't matter. Machiavelli warned that being too trusting makes you vulnerable. Not because people are evil, but because people will take what you freely give. And if you give everything, including your own well-being, they'll take that too. This doesn't mean you should become cold or cruel. It means you should become strategic about your kindness. Give to people who give back. Care for people who care for you. But don't pour yourself out for people who see your emptiness as convenient. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Let me tell you about something Jung called the collective unconscious. It's the part of human nature that we all share. And one thing all humans share is the need to be seen and accepted for who they really are. When you start being real, you give other people permission to be real too. When you set boundaries, you show them that boundaries are okay. When you choose yourself, you teach them that they can choose themselves too. This is how you build real relationships. Not by being perfect, not by never causing problems, but by being honest about who you are and what you need. If you're feeling that tight feeling in your chest right now, that's your true self recognizing itself in this message. If you're thinking about specific people in your life, specific situations where you've given up your needs to keep peace, that's your inner wisdom trying to tell you something. Listen to it. The people who love the real you will stay. The people who only loved what you did for them will leave. And that's not a loss. That's a victory. You are not imagining this. There's a brain reason it feels so extreme when you start setting boundaries. Your mind was trained to see people-pleasing as survival. When you stop people-pleasing, your brain thinks you're in danger. But you're not in danger. You're becoming free. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about one area of your life where you've been giving too much, where you've been saying yes when you want to say no, where you've been putting someone else's comfort above your own well-being. Now I want you to imagine what would happen if you told the truth. If you set a boundary, if you chose yourself just once. Yes, there might be pushback. Yes, some people might be upset. But here's what Jung and Machiavelli both understood. The cost of being real is always less than the cost of being fake. When you're fake, you lose yourself. When you're real, you might lose some people, but you gain your life back. You are not responsible for fixing what others won't face about themselves. You are not responsible for managing their emotions. You are not responsible for making everyone else comfortable. You are responsible for being honest, for being kind, for being respectful, but you are not responsible for being perfect. If someone calls you selfish for having needs, that says more about them than it does about you. If someone gets angry when you set boundaries, they're telling you that they preferred you without boundaries. Pay attention to that information. Machiavelli taught that you must be like both the fox and the lion. The fox is clever and sees traps coming. The lion is strong and doesn't back down from what's right. Be the fox when people try to use your morals against you. See the trap, recognize when someone is making you feel guilty for being human. Be the lion when you need to protect your true self. Stand strong in your truth. Don't apologize for existing. Your true self is not too much. It's not too sensitive. It's not too needy. It's not too anything. It's just you. And you have the right to exist exactly as you are. Here's my challenge for you. I want you to make one honest choice this week. One choice that honors your true self, even if it disappoints someone else. It doesn't have to be huge. It can be as simple as saying no to plans you don't want to make, or asking for help when you need it, or taking time for yourself without apologizing. And then I want you to notice what happens. Notice how you feel. Notice how others react. Notice the difference between people who respect your truth and people who try to change it. This is how you learn to tell the difference between real love and fake love. Real love might be disappointed, but it doesn't try to guilt you back into line. Real love might not understand your choice, but it respects your right to make it. Fake love says, if you really love me, you would. Real love says, I love you, even when I don't understand you. If you're ready to stop letting others use your morals against you, if you're ready to trust your true self, if you're ready to build relationships based on honesty instead of people-pleasing, then subscribe to this channel, because this is just the beginning. The journey to becoming real is the most important work you'll ever do. It's not easy, it's not always comfortable, but it's the only way to live a life that actually belongs to you. Jung spent his entire career studying one question: how do we become who we really are? And his answer was simple, but not easy. We must integrate all parts of ourselves. We must face our shadows. We must risk disappointing others to find ourselves. Machiavelli spent his life studying power, how it works, how it's used, how it's abused. And his lesson was clear. If you don't claim your own power, someone else will claim it for you. Your power is your right to be real. Your power is your right to have needs. Your power is your right to say no without justifying yourself to death. Don't give that power away. Don't let anyone convince you that your truth is too much. You came into this world as your true self. Somewhere along the way, You might have learned to hide that self to survive. But you're not just surviving anymore, you're living. And living means being real. In the comments below, I want you to write 3 words. I choose authenticity. Not for me, not for anyone else, for you. As a commitment to your true self, because your true self has been waiting your whole life for you to choose it. And today is the perfect day to start. Subscribe if this message found you at exactly the right time, because I have a feeling it did. And there's so much more truth where this came from. The real you is not a problem to be solved. It's a gift to be shared. Stop hiding it. The world needs what you have to offer. But first, you need to offer it to yourself.